The Zoom X Invincible versus the Ultraboost 21. Nike versus Adidas, Zoom X versus Boost. Two shoes that come in this year loaded not only with the latest in running shoe technology, but also with a healthy dose of hype. For Nike, that means promising that this shoe can help reduce the risk of injury. And for Adidas, that means making a really weird running robot and putting shoes on it. But which of these two hype shoes is the better running shoe? It's time to put these shoes head to head. .63 miles in the Zoom X Invincible on Tuesday at an easy run pace of 8 minutes 35 seconds per mile, and going for a long run the day before that in the Ultraboost for 13.67 miles and 9 minutes 7 seconds per mile, also going for another easy run. 2 easy runs in a row so I can compare the Zoom X Invincible versus the Ultraboost 21. Now, before I give you my thoughts on these two shoes head to head, I do want to go over some disclosures. The Zoom X Invincible is a pair of shoes that was sent to me for the purpose of review. The Ultraboost 21 is a pair of shoes I purchased myself. However, in neither event is anyone paying me to make this video or to include either of their shoes in this video. And at no point does anyone ever get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the Zoom X Invincible versus the Ultraboost 21. With the Zoom X Invincible, we've got 36.6 millimeters of stack height in the heel, filled with a midsole that's 100% Zoom X foam. It's got a 9 millimeter drop, giving 27.6 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot with a rocker configuration. And it has what Nike has very generously calling a fly knit upper. I'm not sure this is exactly fly knit, but it is knit-like material in the upper. The total package comes in for a men's size 9, somewhere around the 11 ounce range. For the Ultraboost 21, we have 33 millimeters of stack height. So believe it or not, the Ultraboost has less stack height in the heel and a 10 millimeter drop, giving us 23 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot, using a Boost as the main midsole component here. But also in this shoe, we've got Adidas's LEP system, which is gonna help make the shoe feel a little bit more snappy. It's got a Prime Knit Plus upper made out of prime blue material, meaning that a portion of the yarns for this upper are made out of recycled ocean plastics. This total package comes in at a much heavier weight of 12.5 ounces for my men's US size 9. Now, when it comes to these two shoes, running in them, they both have ample cushion, but I will say that the Zoom X Invincible is the softer shoe. So if you're looking for just that max level of comfort for a recovery day or for your very long runs, the Zoom X Invincible is the shoe that I would be reaching for. The one thing that I do notice about this shoe is that it definitely wants me to land more squarely on my midfoot than I would normally otherwise do. So I do feel occasionally that it's trying to kind of nudge me and change my foot strike just a little bit, so that way I'm landing very squarely on the shoe and then rolling forward. So it's a impact and roll, impact and roll. I think the idea is that it gives more of a chance of that foam to absorb that impact. In contrast, the Ultraboost doesn't force my gait in any kind of way. It lets me do really what my foot naturally wants to do. And also the Ultraboost is a much more comfortable shoe when we're talking about the upper. The Prime Knit Plus, still maybe not my favorite prime knit material that I've seen in an Ultraboost, but I definitely prefer the way that the knit material is executed in the Ultraboost 21 compared to the knit-like material that's available in the Zoom X Invincible. The Zoom X is a snug shoe. It reminds me of many other Nike shoes that I've run in before, but it doesn't have that sensation that it's a very premium type of knit material in the upper, whereas in the Ultraboost, I'm definitely getting a much more comfortable upper. And it's also a very good running shoe. It's not my favorite Ultraboost that I've ever run in, and it's not my favorite running shoe that I've run in, but it's certainly a very good running shoe. This year, they've added the LEP system, which is kind of taking their previous torsion bar and it's turned it into more of kind of like a a modified carbon plate-like system, or at least the concept is similar. As your foot presses down on it, that LEP system gets compressed and then it wants to release, so that way as you're pushing off with your foot, it's giving you a little bit of kind of a boost as you're taking each step. I think that the LEP system is working very well for this shoe. So even though it does have more boost than ever, which makes it very comfortable for just kind of walking around or spending a lot of time standing on your feet, it also makes it a very runnable shoe. But at the same time, I feel like even though this shoe certainly looks like there's a lot of boost in it and it feels like there's a lot of boost in it, at least in the forefoot where I typically am landing when I'm running in this shoe, I just feel like there's not enough in the forefoot. I would love it if they took some of this boost from the heel, which I'm not really using quite as much, at least not when I'm running. And if they could shift it forward a little bit more to just give me a little bit more cushioning in the forefoot in the areas where I'm actually wanting to have more boost. And so what I end up with the Ultraboost is this weird situation where it's heavy because of the boost, and I'm still also not getting enough boost at the same time. So that's where I'm having a little bit of problems with the Ultraboost. It's not my favorite shoe of the year, but it is certainly a very good running shoe and it looks fantastic. On the other hand, this Zoom X Invincible is not the best looking shoe that I've ever seen. In fact, it's a shoe that I love running in despite what it looks like. Now, I totally understand that what a shoe looks like doesn't win the day in terms of what makes a better shoe, but it is certainly an important part of the equation, especially in a climate in 2021 when there are so many fantastic running shoe options, even in a somewhat niche category like the heavy daily trainers or the max cushion shoes. There are a lot of fantastic options that work really well and look great. So I do think that this shoe does leave a lot to be desired in like the design aspect of it, but it totally makes up for it in the run experience. The Zoom X Invincible, I think, is going to be one of my favorite shoes to run in for the year, just because it really lets me just get in the shoe, and except for the part where it's kind of nudging me to be a little bit more of a mid-foot striker than I want to be, a lot of times I just get in the shoe and it's a set it and forget it kind of situation, and I could just run. Frequent times when I'm in the shoe, I'll just notice that, look, I just clipped off a bunch of distance and I like just almost didn't even notice it. I'm really getting able to just kind of disconnect from everything and just get out there and get miles in, and it's really pleasant. I'm having such a really good time running and just kind of like feeling free from kind of like the impacts of running, but it lets me feel like that I can definitely run. The Zoom X foam squishes down really quickly, but it also kind of snaps back quickly too. Not in a way that makes it feel kind of pingy, but in a way that makes it almost feel kind of like hydraulic. It's not the fastest shoe that I've ever run in, but when it comes to logging in just a ton of miles, this is a shoe that is an easy choice for me to be able to reach for. So with that all being said, it's time to pick a winner head to head. And in this one, it's really easy for me to pick the winner. It's going to be the Zoom X Invincible is the better shoe, just because running it is so much better than it is running in the Ultraboost 21. But I think that's only kind of part of the story and only really part of the reason why I thought that putting these two shoes head to head would be interesting. I think the real interesting part of this story is kind of the way Nike and Adidas are addressing kind of the same thing, but doing it in completely different ways. So one of the things that, if you look in the comments right now, already by this point of the video, a lot of the people that are coming in here to see this video are probably already have commented the Ultraboost isn't a real running shoe. That's probably already in the comments already. I get that every time I make a video about Ultraboost. And that being despite the fact that the video footage that you just saw from just today's video is from a 13-mile run that I put in the Ultraboost, and I told you I had a good time running that half marathon distance and then a little bit in the Ultraboost. It's a fine running shoe. It does a good job. But it also has to serve two masters, at least in the Adidas kind of like universe. For Adidas, the Ultraboost isn't just a max cushion shoe. It also has to be a shoe that really appeals to the sneakerheads. In fact, I think a big part of why the Ultraboost 21 exists is because they need to give something new to the sneakerheads to look for. Not only are they looking for, though, the new Ultraboost, they're still selling older versions of Ultraboost too, just in new colors or new versions, but they're doing different prior iterations as well. So the Ultraboost is something that in Adidas sells a ton of units to people who aren't necessarily runners and people that are loving the shoe. Now, Nike chose not to do that with this one, or at least they're signaling that they're not doing that with this one here. And I think that's really interesting because Nike already has a shoe that does a lot of what the Ultraboost does well and what the Ultraboost does poorly, at least from a runner's perspective. Nike already has that shoe in their lineup. It's the Vapor Max. It's a shoe that for years, I don't even know if they're still listing it as a running shoe anymore, if they've just given up on that. But for years, Nike listed the Vapor Max as the running shoe that is their max cushion shoe. I don't think anyone ever believed them. I've seen very few people actually in the wild running in Vapor Max. It's not a very popular running shoe, but it is very popular for people that love sneakers, love run-inspired look sneakers, and maybe also want to run or exercise, do some sort of physical activity in the shoe that is the Vapor Max. Now, what they could have done, given that this is a Zoom X shoe, and Zoom X is the foam that's in the Vaporfly 4%, Zoom X is the foam that's in the Vaporfly Next percent, they could have just said that this is the 2021 Vapor Max. And I really kind of wish that they did. I wish they would have put some of those fantastic uppers that the Vapor Max gets and put it on top of this midsole. Even if that would have pushed the price way like into just astronomically crazy places, like the Vapor Max routinely gets to the $200 range and up. Even if they did that, I still think that they would have sold a bunch of these. Now, what they could have done is then kind of had two tiers, like a Vapor Max and maybe something else, and maybe call that the Invincible. And maybe that's exactly what this is. Please tell me that's what this is. I would love to see that. But I don't think that that's coming. So Nike at this point has made a decision that they're not going to try to serve those two masters of make it a good running shoe and make it something that the sneakerheads are going to love too. They've kind of taken the upper from the Miler or maybe the Joyride and slapped it on top of what is otherwise just a phenomenal midsole. And it's very confusing to me. But overall, it's still just a fantastic package. So I don't know what the point of all that is, but I just thought it was just an interesting divergence of these two. And when I look at these two shoes in my closet, I don't really think of it like these two are like peers competing head to head, but I do think of it as a very interesting commentary on the way that Nike and Adidas have approached the same concept. So that's my, I guess, food for thought for today. Let me know in the comment what you guys think about that. Should this have been the Vapor Max? Or should the Ultraboost 21 go the way of the Vapor Max and let the sneakerheads have this and give something else that's max cushion that runners will love? I don't know. I think the answer is kind of like, I wish both would happen. I think there's room for it in the running world right now. I think there's room for it in the sneaker world right now. I'd love to see that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Or better yet, feel free to stop by the live stream I do just about every day on YouTube, 3 p.m. Central Time. I'd love to talk about it more there. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?